Hey guys, Northwest Wilson here. I wanted to talk to you guys about the 2022 KLR650. My wife bought me this for a Christmas present back in December of 2021, and it was a surprise. She said, "Hey, meet me down at the dealership. We need to pick up some stuff for the Giving Tree that her hair salon donates a bunch of gifts to needy kids." And so she said, "We need to get some gifts for this kid." And so meet me down there. It was the last minute thing. And so I went down there, and lo and behold, this was sitting out front with a big red ribbon on it. I actually have the video of it. I should post it. It was really fun. It was very exciting. And I have a great wife that really knows how to make me happy. So it's toys. Like most guys. But anyway, I wanted to review this bike for you. This is the 2022 KLR Adventure model with ABS. So this is the highest trim that they offer for the KLR 650, and it came in the, if you wanted the Adventure trim, it came in this kind of this camo color, kind of a tactical camo, I guess they'd call it maybe, but it comes with the saddlebags on the back. I think they're pretty good. They're okay. I've modified this bike a little bit. I think as far as mileage goes, I have, let's see what we got here for mileage. It's 1486. So that's what's on it. As you can see here, the Trail Tech, engine coolant temperature, and then this is RPM, which the bike does not have from the factory, which is disappointing. But it does have, I did add that, and it also has an engine hour meter on it. So if you're wondering what these are or why I have them on the bike, they're not a factory option. This is aftermarket, and basically it all comes down to your thermostat housing and coolant temperature stabilization, and this is achieved through the Thermobob mod that they call it. And what that does is it basically regulates your engine coolant temperature so that you have a very even coolant temperature the whole time. So it likes to stay right at I believe it's a 180 degree thermostat that comes with the kit, and it really does keep the bike stable at that temperature. So these, it's kind of it's not really controversial, I'd say, but in the KLR community, a lot of people say that because the bike doesn't have a great thermal, what am I trying to say? It doesn't, the temperature swings in coolant are pretty extreme in this bike. And so when the OEM thermostat opens, it dumps really cold coolant right onto a very hot cylinder, and it just keeps doing this over and over again. And what they say ends up happening is it ends up oblonging the cylinder. Okay, and then and then what ends up happening is over time it ends up burning oil. So the theory is that if you add this, it bypasses your water pump, or bypasses your radiator until the coolant gets up to temp, and then it regulates it instead of just being an open system. I'm probably explaining this wrong, but that's kind of how it works. And it's supposed to keep your engine coolant temperature very stable, like you see in a car. You know, cars typically don't have big swings in engine coolant, and you can monitor that with these temperatures. And I will say that the temperatures are extremely stable. The coolant temperatures are extremely stable, and the warm-up time is really fast. This bike, after I installed this Thermobob kit, the warm-up time is incredibly fast. And I will say that because this is a fuel-injected bike, and I do not pretend to know the programming in this ECU for this bike, but I will say that ever since I put this Thermobob on, the throttle response has been much crisper, and it just seems to be running better. If that is just look, if that's not the case, I don't know, but if that's just me reading into it, I mean, possibly. But I feel like, look, I didn't mod this bike for 1,000 miles, and I did that because it was under warranty. And I've learned my lesson on that. Well, I didn't really learn my lesson, but I I want to tell you about this other incident that happened to me like a year and a half ago with my Jetta, my 2012 TDI. That's a issue for a whole nother video. But I lost a motor in that car. It was not my fault, and they replaced it under warranty. But we're going to talk about that later in a different video. But I don't mess with things when they're under warranty. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep myself from doing that. But if something is under warranty, I'm going to run it the way it is until that warranty is up, because I've found out in life that that's a good practice. When you start doing things and you void your warranty, and you may think that it wasn't the cause, and it probably wasn't, but it gives dealers an out. So my point being, modification. I did not do this for 1,000 miles. This bike, it was basically a 1-year warranty with the bike and unlimited mileage. It took me about a year to put that mileage on it. Things got real busy around the house. But anyway, regardless, I put it on after my warranty was theoretically over, and the bike is better for it. I will say that. This is a mod I would do again in a heartbeat on another KLR. I do think it's important, and I do understand the mechanical principles behind it. How keeping engine coolant at a stable temperature is good, rather than just these crazy swings from cold to hot, cold to hot, cold to hot. So I do think it's a good mod, and I highly recommend it. Other than that, this is a stock bike. The nice thing about this, it's got the nice light up dash. This is a big step up, I think, from the Gen 2s. And you got a really nice OEM, okay, LED light kit on it. This bike is crazy bright at night. For a stock bike, it's very impressive. You can really see quite a ways. I mean, realize my brights weren't even on. I would say the brights on this bike, you can kind of see it. They're not great. They're not super bright over just the low beam, but you do have these OEM LED fog lights, which I think are great. The only downside to this is accessing this button. And I didn't really think about it when I was looking at the bike, but if you're got your hands on the bike, and you got your, one hand here clutching or whatever, and you're on a backcountry road, you got to reach up, leave the handlebar every time you want to engage this. I really wish they would have found a way to have put it. I mean, there's room on here. I really wish they would have put that button right here. I think that maybe there's going to be a mod for that one day. It really would be nice to have that button right here. But other than that, it's a great bike. Let's fire it up. Let's see how it sounds. This is a cold start. I haven't started this bike in a long time. So you can hear the fuel pump kick on. Okay, so listen to that. EFI, man. Here we go. So there it is. So you can already see engine temp is climbing. And the nice thing is that, it's always on, so you can kind of see where your engine's at temperature-wise. It's pretty accurate. There's kind of an RPM. I've had issues with this being accurate or not. See, I think it's really weird. I don't know what's going on, but see, it just bounces all around. I don't put too much stock into that. It's not. I would not say that's super accurate. But the engine coolant temp seems to be very accurate, and it comes up quick. It comes up really fast. So anyway, that's kind of a cold start of the bike, and the KLR has a long heritage. They came out with the Gen 1 and then the Gen 2, and the early Gen 2s, that I think 08, 09s had some serious oil burning issues. But I think the KLR, if you're in the market for a KLR, and I understand why, I think there is nothing on the market quite like this, where you can get a bike like this for $6,500, $7,000, right in that range, and go right away on a BDR trip, or commute it and be in good comfort. The seat is awesome. The OEM seat is awesome. There's not many bikes out there that you can say OEM seat is worth anything. Most of them aren't. Most of them get thrown out right away, and a Corbin seat gets put on, or Tour Tech or whatever the other ones are. But the OEM seat on this bike is jam up. I have no plans on changing that. I'd like to go to maybe a soft bag one day. But right now, guys, there's so many other priorities around here that I'm just rolling with the OEM setup right now. I really wish I would have filmed doing the Thermobob mod. It was fairly involved. I would not say that you're going to plan on doing this in 2 hours, on an evening or whatever. Trying to knock it out on a Friday night and ride Saturday morning, I think that's a little ambitious. I try and take things slow and do things right the first time. And I don't really rush through projects, so I make less mistakes that way. I would say that this job probably took me 7 hours. I took the tank off, all the plastics came off, seat, all this associated stuff came off. I basically stripped the bike. So if you want to run your wiring right, and you want to do it, and you don't have to do these gauges, okay? This is an add-on in the kit that you can get an actual temp gauge and an RPM and hour gauge. Look, if you're not monitoring those temperatures and you just want to throw on the mod, the Thermobob, and know that it's going to work, and you're not too concerned about monitoring temperatures, it will work, but you're just not going to know it. This mod's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do it because you don't have to run all the wiring and all that stuff. So there is that. It can be a lot quicker. I think the KLR just represents a great value for the money. We're all been faced with rising prices on everything over the last couple years. Things have just been really expensive, and I just think the KLR represents a great value. It's not fast. I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to win races, but I think it's fast enough. It gets up and going just fine with traffic. It'll do 75 miles an hour. I'm not sure I'd want to do 75 miles an hour for, 5, 6, 7 hours on end, but it'll do it. And it does trails okay. It's extremely reliable. This bike's reliable. They basically haven't changed anything on the bike at all since the Gen 1, except, they've added EFI and a couple other things, but the heart and soul of it is still the same. It's the same KLR everyone knows and loves. I think they're a great bike. I have zero plans on selling this at all. I think this is probably a bike I'll be a long-term hold on. Probably 20 years I'll still have it. It's just a great bike. It's not a huge financial investment. That's part of the problem with like Africa Twins and like GS's, BMWs, and some of the other KTM Super Adventures. I looked at all those, 20, 22 grand, 18.9. You're talking a pretty big financial investment at that point. And if you're not going to be riding, if it's a sole hobby of yours, if that's your sole hobby, more power to you. That's great. Then I would, if this is what you want to do, I'll ride one of these and tear it up, Monday through Friday on your commute. And then you want to hit some trails on the weekend. Yeah. Buy the biggest, baddest bike you can. It's going to be expensive, but you're going to get your money's worth out of it. But if you're like me and you're like, hey man, don't really want to spend, $10,000, $15,000 on a bike, 20 grand. I want to ride when the weather's good and, go out with my friends or whatever. Maybe hit up a, weekend BDR trip or something. That right there. That's the bike you need. This bike used to compete with the Honda XR650L. And like my brother, he's got the DR650. That's a 2012. He's the original owner of that. I think he's got about 8,000 or 9,000 miles on it now. I've ridden it several times. I've put a few hundred miles on it, probably 500 miles on it. These used to compete with the Honda XR650L and the DR650. I don't think it competes anymore, guys. I really don't. I think the XR650L and the DR650 are a pretty good match head to head. But I think this bike in this form, in the Gen 3 form, has officially left those other bikes in a different class. This really, in my opinion, is a mid-weight adventure bike. Although mid-weight's kind of misnomer, it's a heavy bike. It comes in at almost 500 pounds. And it does have a little anemic, 650 cc. I think this 32 horse or something like that. It's nothing to write home about, guys. You're not, like I said, you're not out here winning races. But it's extremely reliable. There's people on the forums with 60, 70, 80,000 miles. The guy that developed that Thermobob, he has like 150,000 on his. So look, I think the bikes are great. But I do think that this doesn't, if you're looking at a DR650 or an XR650L, they're different bikes, guys. I really do think that. I think you could kind of get away with that comparison when the KLR was in its Gen 2 form. Kinda. I still thought it was kind of a different bike, but in the Gen 3 form, with how it comes out the way it is with the bags and the LED lights and the basic crash bars on it, it's just not competing with those bikes. Those are different bikes. Point out the value here. This is a bike that comes with the saddlebags, the crash bars. Now, are they tough? Are they super heavy duty? No. Okay. But they're going to save you that one time you go down. Maybe you have to replace them. LED lights right off the bat, LED headlights. The whole bike's LED. You're getting a good gauge instrumentation. You're getting USB power. Okay. And it's double protected from water. So I think that's pretty cool. 12 volt power socket. You're getting, basic hand guards. They're nothing fancy, but it's something. Okay. At least it's a good windbreak. The mirrors, they're not great. I really think the mirrors are, they left on the table here, but it does come with decent mirrors. They are decent. And a big tank. Look at the tank size on a 650L Honda. Look at the tank size on a DR650. Guys, this is like almost 6 gallons. And then with the new EFI system, they're really able to extend your range, not because the tank got bigger or the engine got more efficient, but because in the old tank design, there was literally like almost a gallon of fuel that you could never access in there just because the way the tank was designed and the way the fuel drained. But now, with I believe they have dual fuel pumps in there, or they have a sucker straw that reaches both sides. You really can get almost all the fuel out of the tank, so your range is extended. So when you're comparing this to those bikes, guys, there is no comparison. If you're looking for something you can take right out onto the trail or go right out onto a BDR trip or a regional trip with confidence that you're on a new bike and you're not going to have issues, there's just no other bike out here. There's nothing like this on the market for this price. Kawasaki hit a home run, I think, with the KLR. People still talk about the doohickey and are you going to do it? I'm sure someone's going to comment, oh, dude, you got to do the doohickey. Yeah, okay, I get it. It's a more involved job. From what I've read and researched, it was a real problem in the early bikes. Kawasaki says they addressed it. I kind of doubt that. It's probably still an issue. But most people that I've spoken to and the research I've done on it, I think you're probably safe for minimum 5,000 miles. Realistically, probably longer. Look, I've had the bike for 2 years. I only have 2,000 miles on it yet. I will do it when, I don't know, guys, but I will do it eventually and I'll film it. It'll be a fun job. I have no problems. I'm no fear of tearing into it. It's just, is it a priority right now? Probably not. I do think it is a little bit overblown. Guys, there's people out there that ride these things day in and day out. They've taken them, I'm not sure if there's more bikes out there than a KLR that have done kind of around the world trip. I mean, the people take these bikes everywhere. I would venture to say, single digit percentages have the doohickey done. Most people are out there just hammering down on these things, guys. So, if it was that massive of a problem, I think you would see catastrophic engine failure posted on the forums far more than you do. And I think that's your answer. How often are you on the forums and seeing another story of catastrophic engine failure? It just doesn't happen. I think it is overblown, but I do think it is a concern, but I think it is just overblown. But anyway, that's kind of my opinion on that. Take it for what it's worth. But anyway, just kind of a little bit about that. Maybe we'll go into this bike in some more detail in another video, but for right now, that's I love it. I recommend it. Post up with any comments or questions that you have about the bike. I'd like to talk about it. I think it's great. It represents a great value. It's encouraging to see that the motorcycle industry still is trying to get a value-oriented bike out to the customer. I think that's been lost in the auto industry over the last few years. It's been lost in the power sports industry. And realize if you shop this bike right now, there are dealers out there that have no setup, no freight and setup fees on this, and you can catch this bike for $6,900. Okay, brand new, no freight and setup, just tax. Okay, go price shop. Look at the MSRP on a DR650. Look at the MSRP on a 650L Honda. They're the same price, guys. They're the same price, within $20 to $100, roughly, depending on the dealer. Maybe you don't get the Adventure with the ABS. Maybe you get the, just the touring edition or just the bare bones KLR. You can catch that for $6,000. Okay, then you're talking 500 to 1,000 below on MSRP what the 650L and the DR650 are going for. At that price, you are crazy not to buy this. If you're looking at a 650 DR, they're a great bike. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here trashing a DR. I love the XR650L. I've got a 600R that we're going to go through in a little while. I'll show you guys. I love Honda products, and I love the DR650. That's a great bike. But dollar for dollar, there is nothing out here that even comes close to this bike. So on that, guys, the end of the video. If you have any questions, post up and I'll answer them. Thank you, guys, and we're on our way to getting more content out there. Thank you for following the channel, and stay tuned for more. Have a good night.